We haven't watched Only Murders in the Building. Can you tell me something you have been watching?
I watched Hard Knocks on Sunday night.
So did I.
HBO once again. I'm interested. I actually started doing a Google, but so Winning Time, season 1 debut had 901,000 people show up for it. 901. Like Secret Invasion debut was like 979,000. So that's pretty good. Like for an HBO show, like obviously it's toward IPs, towards Lakers and sports, but still not towards the MCU, that powerhouse. Like that's really impressive. This past Sunday, it was only 629,000. So I'm just gonna quickly Google.
For season 2.
For season 2, it was only 629,000. So a big drop off.
Why is that the case, Ricky? Why do people not show up to the show for this show?
I guess just the ending was kind of like quick.
But not even that. I really don't think like that episode 1, season 1, I get it why it's so high. And I think it had a lot of hype going in. I don't know if season 2 was promoted as well as season 1 was. I don't think there was this buildup that was going on. I almost felt like a Netflix drop where Netflix will drop a trailer 2 weeks ahead or even 1 week ahead. And all of a sudden the season or Netflix film is here. What I think is the reason is that people would rather see this in a documentary, like I said earlier, rather than the TV show where everything is heavily dramatized. Like you don't have to add much drama to the rivalry of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, to the Lakers and the Celtics, right? To like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like is one of the most notable civil rights activists of his time. I just feel like there was already a lot of drama there that it didn't need a show that could be adapted. And I also want to say this show debuted after Don't Look Up came out.
Yeah.
So Adam McKay, hands all over, editing style all over this show. Maybe people had a little bit enough of Adam McKay. I mean, this didn't have exactly the greatest press going in with like Will Ferrell kind of bashing Adam McKay for not giving him the Jerry Buss part, instead giving it to John C. Reilly. I think it's just a collection of reasons why people just aren't locked in compared to other HBO shows.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like people did like I remember like the first couple episodes are good, then it kind of had a lull, then it had a comeback. This one, it had its ups and downs this episode, but overall I still liked it, and I think there's enough drama there that's underneath the scenes, especially on the Jerry Buss side with his family. Sometimes annoying, but still. And then Magic Johnson, the behind the scenes there. Yes, I totally agree. A documentary like the Larry and Magic documentary that's on HBO is amazing. I've seen that multiple times. This won't come near that critically, but this still has enough drama where you can make some sort of show and make it highly entertaining. I just think that sometimes the dramatization just gets out of hand, especially with Adam McKay's hands all over it. It gets real out of hand.
Yeah, I think it can get out of hand. And I also don't know if they're focusing on the stuff that audiences actually care about. Like when you have figures like Kareem, Magic, Bird, and you're focusing on like the Buss family. Yes, John C. Reilly absolutely kills it. And the Buss family is so integral to what the NBA eventually becomes and does stand today, how it stands today. It's just, do I want to see like who's taking up the mantle there? And in terms of Magic Johnson, I like seeing like the stuff with the women because like that's what he was known for, right?
Right.
He was the leader of the Lakers alongside Kareem at that time. He was the young star, and then you have obviously what happens later on in his career and life that with the HIV that you gotta like show that. But then when it goes to like his relationship with Cookie and she's having like hallucinations and like dreaming about him, I'm just like, yo, we know they get together. Let's not focus on this. Let's give some details that we don't know the inevitabilities of, you know? Like maybe a little bit more like Pat Riley. I wanted to see more Pat Riley this episode, and he had a great opening speech on the bus and saying like in the flash forward at the beginning. I can't wait to see Adrian Brody. I think he's going to have more screen time in the future. I just want them to focus on the right things that I'm actually going to be psyched as a Laker fan as a general audience member, you know?
Yeah, and it's interesting because like if you remember episode 1, season 1, like the debut, it started in 1991 or whenever Magic was diagnosed.
Yeah, that's true.
So like it's weird how they flash forward to season 2. What happened this past week? The first scene is 1984 finals, which they famously lose. So It's like, all right, is this season gonna go up to that point? I don't think so. I think this is just going to focus on like up to James Worthy basically. I don't know what, or the end of the season, like just focus on the season post championship, how like before free agency gets crazy, like with the rule changes, everything. They're just going to focus on like their come down before their come up again the following year.
Yeah, I had a similar question about like the time span of like each season and what an episode will encapsulate. And they don't all have to be equal. It's not what I am kind of hinting at, but the first season is one season of basketball, right? It's drafting Magic and then eventually winning the title. Like, okay, that is the 1980 season. And I think, okay, season 2, are they just going to show this follow-up year where Magic has this like catastrophic leg injury, and is he going to recover? Kareem as the captain, can he carry the team? Is it going to go into a lot of detail with Kareem shouldering the load as an aging NBA star? And they really chose not to go in that direction. And they go through like 3/4 of this next season in
Right.
the first episode that is 70 minutes long. So I am okay if they choose to do this, right? But it's just you got to find the right endpoint, because like you could skip. Are we? I have a feeling we're going to end in 1984 at the end of this season. We
I think
could,
so.
if we've already gone 3/4 through. This whole season 2 could be just about Magic and Bird. That could be like what this whole season is going to cover. And then I also just don't know, is there even a roadmap for this show? Like season 3, 4, 5, if we get it, where is it going to go next? Are we just jumping to what we saw in season 1 with like HIV diagnosis in season 3, how the team's recovering? Are we going to Kobe Shaq like in season 3 or season 4? Are we even going to go up to LeBron? I have no idea. Probably not. That won't happen. But I'm just saying, we don't really have a I don't think there is a lockstep plan that Adam McKay has for this show, and I'm okay with it because they have so much to cover, you know?
Yeah, it's insane. They have so much to cover. I think personally, they'll go through, like obviously this season, they spoiler it, they don't win the title. And you saw it in the preview for the rest of the season after this episode, like Magic Johnson requested a trade, which he famously did in 1981. So like, and they get the first pick from previously from an earlier trade. Don't ask me, I don't know. But they get James Worthy. So it's like, and then they win the title again. So I think they're going to go through like a 2-year period here, especially after season 1 or episode 1 here, going through set like up to the playoffs basically. So I think, yeah, probably 84, right in the mid 80s, they're going to end it here. But then after that, then it's back-to-back titles towards the end of the year. And then that's season 3 maybe. And then season 4 is probably Magic, HIV, early 90s, Dream Team maybe. And then maybe take a hiatus. And then season 5 would be Kobe draft.
Yeah, that like I'm just trying to I don't know how they're gonna map it out, but I know Adam McKay wants to do other things, and he probably doesn't want to be too hands on for like years and years with winning time, especially if the viewership isn't necessarily there. I know he has a great passion for this type of project, but yeah, I wouldn't know if like we ever get to the Kobe Shaq era, because the next season could be just an NBA Finals matchup between the Lakers and Celtics. That could be one season if they want to, right? It really is unpredictable what you're going to see from one season to the next. And this episode, I wanted to also say, 70 minutes long, really long. It felt almost like a TV movie as I was watching it. And I just want to get your thoughts, Ricky Flex. Because we used to have like 35, 40-minute episodes we saw in season 1. Now we're getting like these 70-minute like journeys that we go on. So like what do you think about this extended length?
I think we dip back to under an hour. I think just first episode, let's get through this season where Magic's not in it. Like he imagine doing a season of like multiple episodes with Magic Johnson, like doing like kind of getting over this injury. You can't really do that. That's boring, repetitive, redundant. Just get it through all in one episode and then fly through the rest. Because again, this is the Showtime Lakers. This is Magic requesting a trade in the early 80s. This is Kareem. Is he on the downfall? Spoiler, he's not. Like, and then we don't even have like half the characters that will come to, or we have half the characters, but like we don't have like the other half that either aren't even in the show yet or will rise up and are minor supporting characters in the show, such as a Pat Riley, who will become a protagonist probably, and either at the end of this season or next of the show. So in all, like,
that'd be crazy.
Yeah. So
became the guy.
Wait, is this the role that gets Adrian Brody like back into the groove of things? Like besides Wes Anderson, like this is like another thing that kind of differentiate himself with. We teased it in Succession, didn't really get a lot. Is this going to be the one? And that speech, is that a little teaser for what's to come at the end of this season or next season? I don't know.
They're
But
teasing it for sure. That was foreshadowing.
right.
What's to
So
come.
what I do know is that this can't be the 70 minutes is not going to be a thing. It's going to be back to under an hour. There's too much fast moving, fast editing to be like for 7 more episodes, you're going to give us 70 minutes of content every time. That's so much for this type of pace. It's just pacing. It's way too much. So that's like the one guarantee I could have.
Yeah. So like there was, I think the 70 minutes, I think almost didn't work. Like there's not a moment I'm gonna be like, I regret watching this because it's winning time. It's the Lakers. I mean, look at our goddamn shirts right now. But when it comes to like the moments where it's or the storylines in the first episode that are wrapped up within one episode, where it's like the decision for Magic to have a kid, and then you have Kareem having a kid, and then this doesn't carry over as a plot line or that goes through multiple episodes. It's just wrapped up in that first episode. I'm just like, oh, okay, so we don't have to worry about this again.
But I love that though.
Yeah,
the more boring storylines are out of the way.
Yeah, so that's why but why even include it? Like, is it that important if you were just gonna like mention it in the first episode and be done with it? Like, is this gonna have any carryover from one episode to the next? Maybe he wanted it to feel more standalone, which is possible too, especially by the runtime here. But it looks like you're about to say
something. I get it. I personally did like it, as in, yes, maybe it didn't have to be 7 minutes, but I did like including that because one, there's consequences to Magic's actions, like the first episode in the series premiere. Right, there's a consequences
reckless
actions, recklessness, and will it stop him? Like it gives that thought into your mind if you're not aware of the situation, just watching the show. It's like, all right, that's good character development. And then for Kareem, it's like we keep hinting at his downfall, him having a kid, putting things in perspective. He's going to take things more seriously and takes things more seriously with Magic, right? And also he's a father figure kind of the Magic as well. So it does have some symbolism and some direct correlation with the show and the characters and their development. So I did like it, and especially because it gets it out of the way. Now, if they come back to it and they keep talking about it, then I will start to get angry or annoyed.
Yeah, because it could have just been carried over. It just didn't have to be wrapped up in one episode.
We get it.
But I do like the sports accuracy of it, not just like the basketball scenes and specifically the practice session that I want to talk about with you and the scrimmage that happens. But like, okay, coming off the championship, like I didn't grow up in the 80s, so I didn't know as much. There wasn't as much prevalent media at the time. What was the relationship between Kareem and Magic actually like? Were they on the same team or like they're on the same page at all times? Did Kareem understand that this team is now Magic's, or is Kareem trying to hold that captainship of the Lakers? And does Magic feel like he is the absolute man at the time and he wants to basically push Kareem aside? Is there like a Kobe Shaq dynamic? And that's kind of what we're getting from this first episode. I like that. But it seems like I don't know if we're going to get much more of it because you have that the baby storyline, and then I think it's Magic kind of also understanding where Kareem is coming from. Things are more important than basketball, like making sure they're on the same page, things like that. I just I want to see more between them just because we didn't have Twitter back then. We didn't have social media. And then the basketball sequences, that practice session I thought was my favorite moment of the episode.
Easily.
And that's where I want to see more of Kareem. And Kareem basically going Jimmy Butler, T-Wolves, saying, I'll take the B team. We're going to take you on the starting 5 Magic, and we're going to kick your ass. That's like the competition that you don't always see and doesn't actually like breathe on screen from sports shows and movies, but you felt it there. And that was by far my favorite moment.
And then the consequence of doing that, the cornea, how he gets the goggles.
Yeah. Oh, right? Yeah. It's
so
like it's almost like it was almost like watching First Class where Professor Xavier gets shot by Magneto in the deflected bullet, and it's like he's in the wheelchair. It's like watching Kareem slam his head into the floor and then say, "My eye." You're just like, oh, that's how he gets the goggles. Or it's like watching Captain Marvel and saying, when is Nick Fury gonna get his eye patch? And like Cat scratches them. We're like, oh, there it is. Yes. That's what that moment.
Two great analogies. That is literally spot on how I was thinking. This First Class, X-Men First Class, perfect. And the oh my god, perfect. But yeah, that was the best part of the episode. And again, that's a criticism that we had is that sometimes the basketball scenes didn't look good. Those look good. Yes, Kareem, a little redundant, same move every time, and easy to film because again, the actor is so tall, you can just lay it up over, and it makes it look that easy. It looks like Kareem. But all in all, like the fast-paced Showtime Lakers, like on the A team there with Magic running the point, it's like that was shot very well,
Yeah.
very well. And then
Let
the
it
block,
run.
yeah, and then the block setting the tone, like everything. That's just good filmmaking, much better. Hopefully, they could translate that to the games, because the games, you could tell that the stadium, they black out the balconies and like the mid balconies. And we know that it's not a true arena, unfortunately. I don't know if it's money
I
or
hate
that's
it
how they
when
want it.
shows do that, man, where
It
they
looks
black things
terrible.
out, or they say, "Oh, this is the psyche of the player," just because you can't pack out the arena, it
Right.
doesn't look as good. Just don't
Right.
do that. Like you can put, hey, you want to put some computerized images up top in the balcony. I got no issue with that. Just make it look legit. No one's looking at those details. Just fill in some coloring up there. Simple as that. But more basketball scenes. The basketball scenes, and it seems like they're well done here. And I want to see the competition. I want to see Kareem and Magic. Stay focused on that. And this show, I think, will even excel past what season 1 accomplished, to be honest.
I agree. And I think season 1, like, yes, they win the title at the end of the season of television, in the season of 1980, whatever. But it kind of fell flat at the end. It did. It didn't really build up as well as it could have. I feel like here you could build up a lot of tension with the team now that they're established. The Lakers are and Magic is, but still, like him trying to prove himself after the leg injury. I still think you could use that tension to your advantage and kind of make like raise the stakes and make things like not fall flat at the end, instead of like raising the stakes and make it feel like accomplished for us as an audience member.
They do a nice job foreshadowing in the show, I think. Sometimes it's a little on the nose and obvious, like, oh, that we're gonna have to remember that. But it's like, hey, like just letting you know this is gonna happen. Like to let the audience know like that what direction the writers are heading in. I kind of like that they do that. And I also wanted to say the Jerry Buss stuff, obviously I'm not that into compared to like the on-court stuff. But at the same time, I actually liked it better last season, I think, because Sally Field, I thought, did awesome in this show. And I think like there's something missing there with the 3 kids and the dad and then Jerry Buss. And I think there's just a dynamic there where you need a middleman, and Sally Field was the perfect middleman in that situation.
I agree with that. Like with the dynamic, now you're having the boys get more involved and just don't love them. So tough for Project X guy, forget his name, Thomas. Tough.
Thomas Cobb.
Thomas Cobb, thank you. But and also just it's that the Jerry Buss basketball operations, like for me as a business guy, like I should love that. But again, like speaking of on the nose, it's teaching too much in slow motion like we're 5 years old, right? Like it's kind of like the Adam McKay style with the Big Short when they pin over. They use like that's good filmmaking, like making a clever move to try to explain something. Here it's like, oh, free agency is about to hit, so we have to make sure we sign all our players for an extra amount this year. So
there's this company in Connecticut, right, that is looking for broadcasting rights. It's ESPN. Like don't treat us like we're dumb. Don't treat us like we're dumb.
It's just come on. Those are the things I don't like.
Just drop it on the table. Don't even say it. Just like, hey, just drop the thing that says ESPN on the table. Leave it at that.
That's writing.
All you got to do.
Writing, Adam McKay. But my only other gripe with this episode, and it's a very small one. That's a big one for me. But this is just a small one.
So separates the good shows from bad shows, by the way.
Yes.
Or like good shows from great shows.
Yes. This is entertaining. This gets the job done for sure, and a little better than that. But that's what separates it from like, I don't know, like The West Wing or like those great shows with great writing. But the other thing I didn't like, coming many steps down with the nitpicks. So last season was a big moment when Jeannie Buss found the folder or the binder full of pictures of Jerry Buss's girls, right? And now Jerry Buss is just flipping through them, drinking a scotch, and then she comes up and goes, "Oh, I like her." Like what?
Yeah.
Like 6 months ago, literally not even 6
calling
months
your dad a misogynist.
She was like freaking out over these, and now like she's cool with this. Like very weird. Like did not see that, and I don't think you would ever be comfortable and be like picking out these naked women and be like, oh, she was nice. Like that was just kind of weird to me.
Yeah, that totally went against like that was like a quarter of that character's season where it's like her just not unknowing her relationship with her dad and like where it stands, and then finding out about like all the infidelity and stuff like that. That was weird. It's awkward father-daughter bonding, to be honest. Yeah. So we're gonna keep up with Winning Time. We're gonna go on to episode 2. I think Ricky Flex, what we should do is actually for the finale, Doc Rose Sr. comes on for the finale.
Wow. Potential.
He's the one who was texting us saying who's watching Winning Time tonight.
Yeah.
That was him.
It was him. We'll
These
see.
are his guys. He's got a Showtime Lakers wall in the basement, dude. Like he was made for this. We should have had him on during season 1. We got to squeeze him in here at some point.